Hello, artists. Today I'm going to show you how to watercolor this sweet picture of a Christmas ornament hanging in a tree. It's very simple, but lots of fun. So let's get started. If you notice in my picture, I have a frame around the watercolor. So we're going to create that in our sketchbook as well. So for today's project, you're going to need a small piece of paper towel, your ruler, your watercolors, your pencil, and water and your brush. And something round to trace. I'm going to use this little bowl. So the first thing we need to do is make our frame. So I'm going to take my ruler and put it up against the side of my paper, and I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to do that all the way around. And that's going to be the frame of my picture. Okay, there it is. It's kind of got some edges here, so I can use my eraser, get rid of that. All right, we're ready to go. So the first thing I want to do is take my round object, and I'm going to center it pretty much in the middle of my sketchbook, and I'm going to trace it. And this is going to be my ornament. Okay? And then the next thing I want to do is draw the top of the ornament. It's just a long rectangle, and you can free draw that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Kind of put an oval at the top for the top of the ornament, and then I'm going to make an upside down U shape for the little thing that sticks out at the top where you have the connector here, the wire. The next thing I want to do is make some suggestions of my tree branches. So all I'm going to do is just make some curved lines. I'm not going to draw, every single thing about the branch because we're actually going to do that with our watercolor. And now it's time to watercolor. So I am going to watercolor my, oops, I forgot one more thing. We want to add this little thing, this little wire, so it connects our ornament to the branch. So you can color your ornament any color you like. Since I am making my tree branches green, I'm not going to choose green for my ornament because I want my ornament to be the main thing in the picture. But, I could choose blue, I could choose purple, I could choose orange, I could choose any color that I want to, and you can choose any color that you want to. So I'm going to take my watercolors and my wet brush. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the top of my ornament. And what I'm going to do to make that gold color is I'm going to take some yellow and put it over here on the side of the pan. You might have to add more water to the color. There you go. And then I'm going to take a tiny, tiny bit of brown and add that to the yellow to make kind of a nice gold color. You can see that there. And I'm going to paint the top of my ornament this gold color and let that dry. Okay, I'm going to let that dry now. All right, now I want to paint my ornament. And I kind of like this two-tone look of my ornament, so I think I'm going to do it the exact same way. But I think I'm going to make it red and purple this time instead of red and yellow. So the first thing I'm going to do is paint the red on my ornament. And if you notice, there's some white that I left here, and that's to create the illusion of shine. So I'm going to just leave some areas of my ornament white so it looks like it's shiny. And I'm going to kind of curve the paint like the curve of the ornament. The ornament's round, so I'm going to paint the ornament in a kind of curved way. All right. I like that red. I'm going to add just a little more on the edge here. Okay, now I'm going to use my purple this time. So I used yellow in this one. This one I'm going to use purple. And I'm also going to follow the edge of my ornament with the purple. Red and purple are very close on the color wheel, so they look good together. Okay, so here's my purple and my red. And I'm going to just blend this edge just a little bit so I get a third color. All right, now I have my ornament pretty much painted. Now I need to start with my branches. So the first color I'm going to use is green. And when I go to paint the branches, I want to let my brush just kind of flick around with lines. And it's okay if some of the watercolor gets on your ornament because it would be nestled in those branches, right? So we just want to like pull the paint down as if it's pine needles or fir tree needles, right? And it can go right to the edge of the frame there, right? I want to do that with the other two branches that or three branches that I've made. Just let them kind of dance around your page a little bit. Just like a real Christmas tree branch would do. All right, and one more. Okay. Gonna let them touch up here. All right, so that looks pretty good, but it's kind of flat looking, so we want to give it a little more definition. So I'm going to take some brown and add some more pine needles on top of that to give it a little more definition. And I don't want to add too much because I don't want my pine needles to be completely brown. I want the green to show through. All right, and maybe a little more here. There we go. A little more here. Nice. And lastly, I'm going to take just the smallest amount of black, and I'm going to use that. I want to really make sure that I don't use too much black because it'll take over my picture, but just a little bit on top. And if it kind of blends with the brown a little bit, that's okay too. But it's just going to add just a little more definition to your picture. Like I said, don't put too much, just a little bit. There you go. All right. Now, when I look at my picture, I notice that the red, since it's dried, has gotten a little lighter. It looks more pinkish to me. So I'm going to add a little more red to my ornament. So it's just got another layer of color. So it's nice and bright. Now, if you made red also and it turned kind of pinkish, but you want to keep it pink, then go ahead and keep it pink because it's your ornament. Okay, so for me, that's a little bit brighter and I like that. And I think I'll brighten up the purple just a little bit. Remember, we're going to paint this in curving shapes, curving lines instead of straight up and down in the curve, just like the ball is curved. Okay, I like that pretty much. The last thing I need to do is add the decorations at the top of my ornament holder. And that could be anything, can be any shape. But what I really want to do is take my wet brush and I want to roll it on the paper towel so that it makes this really nice point. And I'm going to use just a tiny bit of brown just on the point, and I am going to make my designs. And since this gold is pretty much dry, it's not going to spread very much on the design. I'll add some brown to the top here and here, and maybe on this little wire that holds it up. And there you have it, a very simple but pretty ornament hanging on a tree. I hope you enjoyed this little watercolor, and I'll see you next time.